we're looking forward to the game here with the Citadel, 12 o'clock noon this Saturday. And Citadel is a well-disciplined team. They've had some tough luck this year. They've lost most of their close ones. Lost in overtime to Elon, and lost a close one with Furman, Appalachian State. Georgia Southern beat them by 2 points. Georgia Southern was #1 in the country in that division. And then Sanford scored at the end of the game last week to nip them 19-14. So they're, I think they lead the nation in fewest penalties. I wish I could say that about our team, but I cannot say that about our team. But these guys are, they don't beat themselves. They're an excellent running team, run the triple option, similar to Georgia Tech, Navy, those teams. I think they're averaging around 290 yards rushing per game. So we got to play. We got to come to play, or else, you know, they can stay out on the field like Navy did a bit, and we might be in trouble. But we're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to see if our offense can play a little bit better. Maybe hit a pass down the field before the day's over, and see if we can move the ball a little bit better. Get some of our players to play a little bit better, not jump offside so much, things like that. See if we can improve upon the game last week. So, should be a pretty day. Should be very similar to last week, I think, weather-wise, about 65 to 70. And Citadel will come in here and play their hearts out, and they'll give it their best shot to beat us. So we must be ready to play. But we're looking forward to it. Looking forward to trying to get the 9th win of the season, which, as we know, has only happened 3 or 4 times, I guess. So hopefully we can achieve that goal. Okay, any questions?
Steve, you mentioned this a little bit, but do you see this as maybe an opportunity to get the passing game really in sync and get ready for next week?
A little bit, but still, again, you don't go into a game saying we're going to experiment throwing the ball every down. We'd like to throw a little bit better than we have been, certainly, but we've got to mix it up and try to win us the ball game the best way we can. But we do need to improve to our passing game, see if we can do a little bit better. But we need to win the game first and foremost.
Steve, beyond you being in a good mood Saturday, why did Mike Matulis get a game ball?
Matulis played the whole game, freshman. Hadn't played, I don't think, in 4 or 5 weeks. And I sort of suggested to Coach Elliott, maybe we need to let him play right tackle because we were struggling there. And he's a Florida kid from Florida. That was basically the reason he got one. He played decent, not great, but decent.
He was the first guy you threw in there for Kyle, and then he kind of disappeared, didn't play at all. Why did he fall out of the lineup, and then how did he get back to being a starter?
Well, he got back in because I told Coach Elliott, let's give him a shot this week in practice and see if he can play a little bit better than who's been playing there. So that's how that happened. We had a chance to redshirt him. I think he played early in the year, but had a little nagging injury that wasn't that bad, but we've got a chance for a big year. I said, we don't need to be redshirting guys when we're in the middle of one of the best years we've ever had around here. So anyway, he played pretty well. He didn't play great, but he played well enough to get a game ball. We gave a lot of game balls out last week. It was to me, it was a huge win for us to be able to beat Florida, Georgia, and Tennessee back-to-back years. And you know, we were bragging about it last year because it's the first time it ever happened. Now, lo and behold, it's happened 2 years in a row. So that's neat for our football program, for all Gamecocks to know that we are competitive now. We're not a great team, and we were actually talking in the coaching staff room the other day that last year's team probably statistically was a lot better than this year's team, and yet this year's team has won one more game at this point than last year's. But last year certainly finished strongly, winning the last 2. So who knows how we'll do.
Steve, you sounded very happy, very satisfied after Saturday's win. Is this program where you want it to be right now, or do you still feel like there's still some work to do? I mean, are you ready to?
No, it's not where we want to be. We want to win the SEC in the next 3 or 4 years. Hopefully real soon. That's where we want to be. So we're not quite there yet. But we were a happy bunch, there's no question about that. But anytime somebody beats Florida, they're usually a happy bunch of people. If you think we were happy, you should have seen the Georgia Bulldogs and how they were talking and how happy they were a few weeks ago. But you got to remember, Florida is a team that's won several, the last 20 years, 3 national championships, about 8 or 9 SEC championships. So they're one of the elite teams that anytime you beat somebody like that, that's something you can talk about for a while anyway, to the next year's game. So it was good to win all the Eastern Division games, and even though it appears Georgia's going to win the East, our guys have had an excellent year. We're really proud of the way our guys have played.
I guess you're 43-0 against teams from outside BCS conferences. Do you take a certain amount of pride in that? The fact that you haven't lost one of those teams yet in your career?
No, I don't really talk about all that much. We've had a few close games here and there, certainly with our in-state teams here. Wofford almost beats us every time we play them, and Furman comes close too. And South Carolina State has given us fits. So yeah, we don't talk about it. We just need to make sure we're ready to play. We got to make sure we're ready to play, and I think our guys will. We've gotten the last game out of our system, I believe, and we'll be ready to get some good practices in Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and be ready to go at noon Saturday.
What's your plan for the right tackle spot this week?
Still Matulis, yeah. Still Matulis is in there. Hopefully he'll get the signals a little bit better. And some of the other guys also. We still go the wrong way every now and then. It's hard to imagine, the players slide right and he slides left. Maybe things like that happen that shouldn't be happening. That happened on the ball that was knocked down, and Justice caught the tip ball. Yeah, but so anyway, we got a lot of improving to do if we're going to have a good offense around here. We've been winning with some ugly play, maybe because the other team played a little uglier than we do, and that's sort of what's happened, I believe, a little bit some games this year. But yeah, we're still trying to get sharper and more assignment oriented to doing it the right way 98% of the time instead of about 75.
How would you assess Connor for what you've seen?
Connor's
so
doing
far?
okay.
Independently as a
Connor had a
tackle.
courageous game, running the ball and so forth. Passing, I'll tell you what, they had some good coverages. You got to give him credit there, and once or twice maybe he could have stayed in there and fired it, and he took off running. But he's doing well. He's doing very well. The ability to run the ball at that quarterback's position is gives you a chance to win. Gives you a good chance to win.
Coach, I know you said a couple weeks ago that Georgia won 7 straight conference games and probably should be in the championship game, but if hypothetically the league said, okay, we're going to change it to where whoever wins the most division games can get into the conference championship, would you be in favor of that?
No, that's just rub of the green, as they say, whatever your schedule is. And we were very fortunate. We didn't have to play LSU or Alabama. Georgia didn't have to play them either. I think Arkansas is a little bit better than Ole Miss this year, and we played Arkansas, obviously. And that's just the way it happened. And Georgia's been fortunate too. I think their coach would tell you they've won 2 or 3 that could have gone the other way. Vandy game, the Florida game, and maybe one other somewhere. So they've had good fortune, and sometimes that's all you can do is play it out. And if it was meant to be, maybe you're going to win it, like it was for us last year with a 5-3 record. This year was 6-2. Maybe it's not meant to be.
In terms of Marcus's surgery schedule, what's the word on that, and why has there been a delay?
There hadn't been a delay. That's the way they do it nowadays. They try to get the knee completely calmed down, get all the swelling out, and they're able to, so I guess, isolate the ligament to repair it and so forth. But I believe it's going to be this week sometime. I believe it's the latter part of this week.
How has his mood been?
He's been pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah, I saw him walking around yesterday. He's off his crutches. He can walk without the crutches now. But yeah, he's looking forward to getting it over with and start rehab. And we all know that he will work extremely hard as any player to get it back 100% and ready to go. And we feel confident we got one of the best orthopedics surgeons in the country, Jeff Guy. So he's ready to get it done and start rehabbing the next day or so afterwards.
Human nature being what it is, the Georgia game roughly kicking off about 20 minutes after. You talked to your players this week about focusing on who you're going up against and not trying to sneak a peek at the scoreboard updates from the stadium.
No, we don't talk about that game that much. Really didn't talk about Georgia that much either. I did mention I had a good feeling, but my feeling was wrong, that's for sure. Yeah. But what was I supposed to say? I had a bad feeling? You gotta go under the assumption. You got to go under the assumption something good's going to happen, and it didn't work out. But no, we won't worry about that game.
Steve, a lot of the focus on the defensive line this year has been on Ingram and Clowney and Taylor. But can you talk a little bit about what Travian Roberts has meant to you?
Yeah, Travian had an excellent game. In fact, he graded out the highest of all the guys last week against Florida. Travian Robertson. Yeah, Travian's been here 5 years and he's already graduated. He's one of our best representatives of a Gamecock football player. So really proud of Travian, and I certainly think he's got a chance to play some ball in the NFL. He's a big, strong inside tackle. He's hard to move, and he ended up getting the last sack to end the game last week.
Steve, do you worry at all about, I hate to use the word, but like motivation or anything like that with, the SEC title game apparently out of y'all's reach in the last couple of years?
No, we set more goals than just Eastern Division. And we actually hit one of our goals last week, winning 8 games. Winning 8's one of our goals, and winning 9 is one of our goals. So we're shooting for number 9 this week. So that's one of our goals right there. And I believe in setting with the team several goals, which we do. I think we set about 8 or 9 goals this year. So a bunch of them are still out there for us. They're still out there.
When you're doing things as a coach that are innovative, wherever you are, whether it's you or someone else, how hard is it to stay ahead of the curve with that? And what do you kind of do in order to stay ahead of the curve when you're doing things that are different at the time?
Staying ahead of the curve, what do you mean?
In terms of what other teams are trying to do to stop you, to limit you.
Well, we do what everybody does. You try to have a good play for the defense. They try to have a good defensive play for your offensive play. And maybe the team that can have the most good plays against the right defense has the best chance to win. So, we do a little bit like everybody does, checking at the line of scrimmage occasionally, so forth. We had some good fortune last week getting their guy to jump offside on that 3rd and 2 on the last drive, and then where their guys jumped offside when they were down on about 3 or 4 yard line, that maybe helped get us a field goal. So it's always interesting, those little things like that may really determine who wins the game. Guy jumps offside and stays on side, and that's, we had a penalty the first play, the first 2 possessions. We couldn't even, had a holding penalty, and then we jumped offside. I don't know exactly what caused it, but fortunately we were a little bit better later on.
Have you heard from any longtime Gamecock fans this week about the last time the Citadel played here?
No, but I told our team about it. I think I was in Charleston this summer at the Gamecock booster meeting, and one of the guys down there, I think, played football at Citadel. Was it 1980? Was that the year? 1990. Oh, jeez. I thought it was 80. 1990. That wasn't that long ago then, was it? I mentioned that to our team that, that it is a very big deal if an in-state school beats a state university anywhere. So, we'll be ready to play. We'll be ready to play these guys, and I'm sure they'll be ready to play too.
Have you been able to tell since you started recruiting Connor that he comes from a football family where, it's kind of every dinner table conversation is football? Does he give off that coach's son vibe? A little bit.
but obviously we knew he was the coach's son, because when we met with him at his high school, we met in his dad's office right there several years ago. But Connor's, yeah, he's learning, you know, drop back passing is something he hadn't really done a whole bunch of till he got here. So that's something, he really throws a pretty pass. I mean, the long one to Ace was perfect. Actually, we tried a long one to Jason Barnes down the right sideline that they covered pretty well. But he's really a good passer. We got to get the ball out. We've had trouble the last few games just getting it out there. So that's what we're working on: pass protection and telling Connor when you got some open land out there, throw it, get it out.
Steve, I got 2 questions for you. First, with the season growing late, has Alshon mentioned anything to you about what he's thinking about regarding coming back or going to the NFL?
No, we don't really talk to our players about that until the season's over. They know the way we feel, and we always feel that if a player's going to be a first-round pick, he should go. He should leave. If he's not going to be a first-rounder, statistics say he should stay. So that's what the statistics say, but they don't always listen to that. So I don't know exactly what he's going to do.
Second, moving forward with your offense, knowing what you've got coming back and what's coming in, do you foresee a day when you'll get back to more of your style of offense, or is this now going to be your style of offense?
No, I hope not. I hope not. This is not going to be our style of offense. Yeah, when I watch the tape, you know, we watch the tape obviously after every game. You know, up the middle for 1 yard, 2 yards, and stuff like that. I don't like watching it either. And but on the other side, I know we all like winning better than we like guys getting sacked and throwing interceptions and things like that. So we're just not real good at throwing yet. And really even last year, our big wins, we didn't throw 35, 40 times. We throw about 20, 22, something like that. So this has been really our style the last couple of games. And like we were in here, and one of the guys, I guess he was from Florida, he said, have you ever completed only 7 passes and 1? And I said, yeah, against Florida in 05. We were only 7 of 17. So some games it works out like that. Tim Tebow only completed 2 last week, and they won. So we're way ahead of those guys. Yeah, all kind of ways to win, as we know, and you just got to do whatever your team does best. So.
Coach, I see Devontae's listed on the depth chart. Feel like he's going to be good to go?
Yeah, we think so. We think his concussion has healed up. He will still go through some of the tests that trainers give him, and we think he's going to be okay.
Steve, you talked about how disciplined the Citadel is, and I know when you played Navy, you admired them for that same reason. When you play a team like that, it's a little scary for you, especially when your team isn't as disciplined as you'd like it to be, and you know the other guys are not going to beat themselves?
Yeah, not that so much. What always worries you is making sure we're ready to play. That's what our main concern is. Let's make sure we're ready to play and try to get after that 9th win. And you know, I always have been a big believer that you don't talk so much about your opponent. You talk about trying to play your best every time out. Simple as that. That's what winners do. They don't worry about who the opponent is. As all of you know, John Wooden is probably my favorite coach of all time by just reading his books. And he always said, we don't even hardly talk about the opponent. Our players don't even know who the coach is on the other teams. And I guarantee our guys don't know who, unless they read the book, they don't know who the coach is on the other teams, hardly ever. But we just try to get ourselves ready to play the best we can and try to improve upon the last game we played. A lot of areas of improvement, and try to finish strongly. You know, we don't need a big lapse around here at all.
Steve, Bruce got back on kickoff return and did pretty well last week. Is it kind of a competition between him and Vic, or is Bruce pretty much the starter with Stephon back there?
Well, Bruce did better in practice last week. That's why he was back there. And of course, Vic had a fumble at Arkansas. Bruce had one at Kentucky. Everybody's been back there has had one, but Bruce did do a good job. And the return team actually, gave him a little bit more blocking than normal. And plus, the Florida kickoff guy, he didn't kick it to the end zone. He kicked a nice return ball back to the 10. So that's what gave us a chance to. We had excellent field position in that game. Excellent, most of all the game. Had a shank punt, their guy did. So we were at 40 a bunch. Didn't lead to a lot of scores, but anyway, had good field position. All right, see you guys Saturday.